He kept telling himself the same sentence like it was wisdom. I'll start when I feel ready. It sounded responsible, mature, even strategic, and it let him delay without calling it delay. Ready meant energized. Ready meant confident. Ready meant clear. Ready meant the perfect mood, the perfect plan, the perfect morning where nothing unexpected could touch him. The problem was simple. That morning rarely came, and when it did, it didn't last long enough to build a life. This is the story of Noah, a man who wasn't lazy, wasn't dumb, wasn't hopeless. He was just trapped in the most common lie. He thought readiness comes before action. Noah had goals that looked reasonable on paper. Hit in shape, learn a skill, build something real, fix his finances, become the kind of person who follows through. He even had motivation sometimes. He would feel a surge at night, write plans, make lists, and picture a future version of himself who didn't hesitate. Then morning would arrive, and the surge would be gone. The list would feel heavy. The first step would feel unclear, and his mind would return to its favorite escape. Not yet. He didn't say, I'm scared. He didn't say, I'm avoiding discomfort. Said, I'm not ready, because not ready sounds neutral, like a temporary condition, not a choice. The longer he waited, the more he believed waiting was preparation. He called it research. He called it planning. He called it timing. But deep down, it was fear wearing a clean shirt. He watched other people move. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but consistently. They posted progress, shipped work, finished projects, and Noah felt a quiet frustration that didn't know where to go. He told himself they had something he didn't. More talent, more confidence, more discipline, more time. Something. Anything that explained why they could begin. The truth was harsher. They weren't more ready. They were more willing to begin while unready. One Sunday night, Noah sat on his bed holding his phone, thumb hovering, looking for another video, another how to start, another shortcut to readiness. His feed was full of advice, morning routines, productivity hacks, mindset quotes. Do this and you'll change your life. He saved them like collecting tools he never used. The advice felt good because it made him feel close to change, like he was already improving just by learning. But learning without doing becomes a comfortable prison. That night, he asked himself a question he usually avoided. What exactly am I waiting for? He didn't like the answer because it was honest. He was waiting to feel certain, waiting to feel capable, waiting to feel like he wouldn't fail, waiting to feel safe. Ready for Noah was a guarantee. And life does not give guarantees to people who refuse to move. The next morning, he planned to start again. He set an alarm. He placed his clothes by the door. He promised himself, this time will be different. When the alarm rang, he opened his eyes and felt nothing. No fire, no excitement. Just a normal body and a normal mind and a normal morning. He stared at the ceiling, and the old voice returned, calm and persuasive. Wait until you feel it. He almost obeyed, because obeying felt familiar. Then something small happened. A memory flashed of all the mornings he waited, and all the nights he regretted. He felt tired of repeating the same script. He whispered, what if ready is not a feeling? He sat up slowly, like he was stepping into unknown territory. Noah stood up, walked to the kitchen, drank water, and still didn't feel ready. That's when he realized the most important detail. Feeling ready wasn't required to move. His mind tried to argue, if you start unready, you'll do it wrong. He answered, doing it wrong is still doing it. He remembered a line he once heard and never practiced. Clarity comes from engagement, not thought. He had been trying to think his way into action. Thinking felt safe because it had no risk. Action felt dangerous because it creates evidence, and evidence can prove you're not as good as you want to believe. Noah didn't fear work. He feared the moment work would show him his real level, and readiness was his shield from that truth. he finally saw the trap clearly. The more you wait to feel ready, the more you train your brain to associate beginnings with comfort. You become allergic to discomfort. He grabbed a notebook and wrote a simple rule at the top of a page. I start before I'm ready. The sentence scared him because it removed his favorite excuse. Then he wrote a second line. Ready is the reward, not the requirement. He didn't fully believe it yet, but he wanted to. That's the thing about discipline. You don't begin with belief. You begin with behavior, and belief follows like a shadow. Noah chose one goal that mattered most: health. Not because he wanted A's, but because he wanted control. He wanted to prove to himself that he wasn't stuck. His mind immediately tried to make it complicated. Perfect workout plan, perfect diet, perfect schedule, perfect results. Perfection is procrastination's best friend, so he made it small on purpose. He created a practice that didn't require readiness. He called it the 2-minute start. The rule was simple: 2 minutes only. If he still wanted to stop after 2 minutes, he could stop without guilt. The goal wasn't to finish. The goal was to begin. Because the hardest part of discipline is not the work. It's crossing the line from thinking to doing. Noah set a timer for 2 minutes and did push-ups against the kitchen counter. Not impressive, not heroic, but real. And real was new. When the timer ended, he noticed something strange. He didn't feel ready, but he felt awake. He felt less foggy, like action had turned on a light. He did 2 more minutes, then 5, then 10. Not because he forced himself, but because momentum had replaced hesitation. That morning taught him a painful truth. He had been waiting for readiness to create action, but action was the thing that created readiness. Later that day, he used the 2-minute start again, but for a different goal: learning. He opened the lesson, watched for 2 minutes, took one note, and stopped. The win wasn't the lesson. The win was identity. He was becoming someone who starts. That night, Noah wrote a sentence that felt heavier than motivation. I can be scared and still move. He had never allowed both to be true at the same time. The next day, he woke up and felt even less ready. Stress, bad sleep, a busy schedule. The kind of day he used to treat as a reason to quit. He almost skipped. The voice said, do it when life is calmer. But life doesn't calm down for people who wait. It just changes its chaos. Noah did 2 minutes anyway. Then he stopped. That was fine. Because he didn't break the chain, and the chain was the real system. He created another rule: no 0 days, not perfect days, not big days. Just no 0 days, because 0 days trained the brain to disappear. Over the next week, he started noticing how often not ready showed up in his life. Not ready to apply, not ready to post, not ready to start the project, not ready to have the conversation. He realized not ready wasn't information. It was emotion. It was fear, uncertainty, vulnerability, and ego protection pretending to be logic. That's why the phrase is so dangerous. It sounds like a temporary condition, but it's actually a permanent lifestyle if you let it run. Noah wrote a question on a sticky note and placed it near his desk. What would I do if ready didn't exist? The question hit him like cold water. He began practicing something called the ready test. Whenever he caught himself saying, I'm not ready, he had to finish the sentence honestly. I'm not ready because I'm afraid of failing, afraid of looking stupid, afraid of wasting time, afraid of being judged, afraid of trying hard and still not winning. The truth was always hiding behind the same curtain. And once he named the fear, it shrank. Not because fear disappears, but because it loses the power of secrecy. Unnamed fear controls you. Named fear becomes manageable. Noah also stopped waiting for confidence. He learned confidence isn't a prerequisite. Confidence is a receipt. It's proof you get after you do the thing repeatedly. He started measuring progress differently. Not by results, not by feelings, but by starts. Did I start today? Did I cross the line? Did I keep my promise? That shift changed everything. Feelings became background noise. Standards became the signal. Then life tested him. A week of chaos, family problems, work pressure, low energy. The exact season where his old identity would collapse. The old voice returned with a softer tone. You can pause. You can restart later. You've earned it. Comfort always speaks like a friend. Noah answered with a standard, 2 minutes. Even in chaos, he could do 2 minutes. Even in chaos, he could start. That was the day he learned discipline isn't about intensity. It's about continuity. It's about staying connected to the person you're becoming. He noticed a strange benefit. When he started small daily, he felt calmer. Not because his life was easier, but because he stopped carrying the guilt of avoidance. Avoidance creates mental noise. The mind keeps whispering, you should be doing it. Starting quiets the whisper, because action ends the argument. Noah also learned that readiness is often just ego. The ego wants you to begin only when you can look competent immediately, because it hates the beginner stage. But every powerful person you admire survived the beginner stage. They were awkward, slow, uncertain. They began anyway. That's what made them powerful. Noah created one more tool for moments of hesitation. He called it the 10-second decision window. When he felt resistance, he had 10 seconds to begin a tiny action. Open the document, put on the shoes, write the title, send the email draft. The first move had to happen before his brain built a courtroom to argue the case. Because the longer you wait, the smarter your excuses become. Your brain will defend comfort like it's protecting your life. Weeks later, Noah didn't feel ready most mornings, but he was moving more than ever. He stopped waiting for permission from his mood. He also stopped romanticizing the perfect start. Perfect starts are easy. Continuing is the real skill. Continuing when the day feels normal, when nothing is exciting, when progress is slow. Noah looked back at his old self with compassion. He wasn't weak. He was trained. Trained to wait, trained to hesitate, trained to believe comfort was wisdom. And training can be reversed. The same brain that learns delay can learn action, but it learns through repetition, not inspiration. One afternoon, he felt the old anxiety creep in. What if I'm not good enough? For a second, he considered retreating into planning again. Instead, he started. 2 minutes. 10 seconds. One small move. And the anxiety didn't disappear, but it stopped driving. That's the real victory. Not feeling fearless. Feeling fear can still choosing forward. Noah wrote his final rule in bold ink. I don't wait to feel ready. I act to become ready. It became his compass when his emotions got loud. He also learned to trust the boring days. Boring days build the base. Boring days are where consistency is forged, and consistency is what changes a life. If you're waiting to feel ready, listen carefully. Ready is not a door that opens. Ready is a muscle you build. It gets stronger every time you start unprepared. Stop trying to think your way into courage. Start your way into courage. 2 minutes is enough. 10 seconds is enough. One tiny action is enough to break the spell. Use the ready test when you hesitate. I'm not ready because I'm afraid of. Name it. Shrink it. Then start anyway. Use THE 2-minute start when you feel overwhelmed. 2 minutes only. The goal is not to finish. The goal is to begin, because beginnings create momentum. Use the 10-second decision window when your mind starts negotiating. Begin a tiny action before the excuses organize. Don't argue with your brain. Move your body. Noah didn't become a different man because he finally felt ready. He became a different man because he stopped waiting for a feeling that was never coming. And once he stopped waiting, the strangest thing happened. He started to feel ready more often, not because readiness arrived first, but because action taught his brain what forward feels like. That's the lesson he wishes someone had told him years earlier. You don't wait for readiness. You create it. You don't wait for confidence. You earn it. Your future isn't built by the days you feel unstoppable. It's built by the days you feel uncertain and still do the small thing you promised yourself. If you want a new life, stop asking, "Do I feel ready?" Start asking, "What is the smallest start I can do right now?" Then do it before you think. Because the real problem was never that Noah wasn't ready. The real problem was that he believed readiness was required. Every story reshapes your mindset.